Have you not, perhaps, perceived this curious human dance? You arrive at a gathering, a celebration, and you begin to watch the flow of beings around you. They seem to shimmer with a shared vitality, as if drawing energy from a great, invisible wellspring. Their voices rise and fall on the tide of the evening, expanding, becoming more present. And then there is you, a quiet pool in a corner, perhaps, simply moving through the currents. And with each passing moment, you feel a subtle ebbing within, as if a silent drain has opened, and your own inner stillness is flowing out into the noise. And so you ask yourself, your whole being becomes a subtle, receptive instrument. It is reading the space, not with the thinking mind, but with a far deeper, more ancient awareness. And with a deep, quiet yearning for escape? Let me offer you a thought. There is no flaw in your nature, not in the slightest. What you are feeling is not a lack or a fault in your design. You are simply a different kind of instrument. And the universe, in its boundless play, has a need for all kinds of music. You see, we are often told a story that the outward-facing life is the only true life, the proper way. That if you are not set alight by the crowd, if you do not yearn for the constant reflection of yourself in the eyes of others, then you must be out of tune. But this, you see, is a profound misunderstanding. It is like saying the moonflower, which blooms in the cool of the night, is a mistake because the sunflower turns to the day. The cosmos delights in endless variation. Some creatures of the forest move in darkness, others in light. Some find their strength in the pack, others in solitude. And so it is with us. Some are made to process the world from within, in the deep, resonant chambers of silence. You are not a lesser echo of another. You are a different melody in the grand orchestra, and both are utterly essential for the wholeness of the symphony. Now, what is truly occurring in this dance that leaves you so empty? Let us look closer. Because when you understand the pattern, the game is no longer a burden, but something you can observe with peace. When you cross the threshold into that room of souls, your very being begins to sense something extraordinary. It is listening to the room, not with the mind, but with a wisdom far beneath the surface of awareness. You are absorbing the music behind the words, the fleeting shadow on a face, the invisible currents of feeling that flow and eddy between people. You are processing a vast, unspoken language, more than you consciously know. The other kind of person in the room is a transmitter. They are broadcasting. They send out waves of themselves and receive them back in reflection. It is a marvelous game of cosmic tennis, a delightful back and forth. And for them, this play is life itself, for their nature is tuned to this outward frequency, to dance upon the surface of the waters. But you are the still water that reflects the entire sky. You are absorbing the whole emotional weather of the room. And here is the secret. You do not simply see it from afar. You are feeling it as your own. When there is anxiety in the air, it becomes a ripple in your own being. When a hidden tension exists between two others, you feel it as a tremor in the great web. You see, you are not just at the party, you are metabolizing the party. And this profound act of resonance requires a tremendous amount of life force. It is the difference between watching the river from its bank and being the river itself. The other dances on the shore, commenting on the light that glints on the surface. You are in the water, feeling every current, every shift in temperature, every silent pull from the depths. Is it any wonder, then, that you feel tired? You have been engaged in a profound and invisible work, a labor not of the hands, but of the entire spirit. And there is another layer to this waking dream we must understand. Most social gatherings are a kind of theater, a performance of selves. People are not always their true essence. They are playing a part, wearing a mask, presenting the self that has been agreed upon as acceptable, as pleasant, as appropriate. For most, this mask is worn so lightly they forget it is there. But your awareness is different. You notice. You sense the space between the words people speak and the truth they hold in their hearts. You perceive the echoes in forced laughter, the kindness of polite allusions, the conversations that skim the surface but never touch the depths. And this creates a quiet dissonance within you, a friction, because you cannot join the play with an unknowing heart. You seek something true, a genuine current of connection that flows beneath the choreography of social graces. And in this seeking, you find yourself caught. You are present at this gathering, playing the expected part, yet all the while, you are aware that it is simply a game. It is like being awake in a dream, where all the other dreamers have forgotten it is a dream, and you alone see the painted backdrop for what it is. This awareness carries a certain weariness. This dual consciousness of being in the dance while watching the dance, it asks a great deal of you. Now, let us contrast this with the silence of being alone. When you are alone, the masks can finally fall away. You need not perform. You are not required to tend to another's inner world or navigate the intricate tides of social exchange. You are simply allowed to be. And in that state of being, in that simple, unadorned existence, there is a deep and profound rest. The extrovert, you see, meets solitude in a different way. For them, it can be a void, a quiet that needs to be filled. They draw their life force from the outer world, from the reflection in other eyes. But for you, solitude is never a lack. It is a homecoming. It is the quiet pool where you restore your spirit. It is where you allow the ripples of experience to settle, where you become reacquainted with your own soul. This is why, after the noise of a gathering, you require a period of profound stillness. The fatigue is not merely of the body or of late hours. It is the tiredness of having processed a universe of subtle energies, of maintaining a social self, of holding the space between the authentic and the performed, and of absorbing the emotional weather of all those around you. You need time to release it all, to allow the waters of your being to clear, to return to the quiet center. And here is a truth that the world seldom speaks, a truth you must feel in your very essence. This is not a failing. It is not a flaw to be mended or a mountain to be conquered. The depth of your inner processing, the fine-tuning of your perception, these are remarkable gifts. Yes, they bring their own unique challenges. Yes, they make some waters more turbulent to navigate. But they also let you perceive the silent music others miss, to feel the currents others cannot sense, to know life with a richness the surface dweller may never discover. The problem, you see, is not that you are drained by the social dance. The problem is that we have built a world that celebrates only one kind of dancer, a world organized around the values of the outward sun, and then wonders why the inward moon feels out of place. We have built a world where endless chatter is mistaken for connection, where the number of acquaintances is valued over the depth of a single bond, where the bright flame of the party is praised more than the steady, quiet light of the observer. But consider for a moment what the world would be without those who seek the quiet places. Who would do the deep contemplation? Who would create the art, the poetry, the science that is born only in long, still hours of solitary communion? Who would notice the subtle patterns that only emerge in the great silence? Who would hear the quiet truths that only whisper to those who have learned how to listen to stillness itself? The universe, in its wisdom, requires both. It needs the sun-gatherers, energized by the crowd, and it needs the moon-gazers, energized by the quiet. It needs those who send out the signal, and those who receive it. It needs those who dance upon the surface of the wave, and those who explore the silent, profound depths of the ocean. Both are essential, both are whole, both are part of the cosmic play. So when you find yourself in the crowd, feeling that familiar energy begin to ebb, you can choose differently. You can honor your own nature rather than resisting it. You can depart early, free of apology. You can seek out the one or two souls with whom a real conversation might flow, and stay in that current, rather than trying to navigate the entire ocean. You can step away for a moment into the night air and give yourself the gift of silence in the very heart of the noise. And you can cease measuring your own music against the music of others. Stop believing that their way is the standard and yours is a deviation. They are playing their melody, and you are playing yours. One is not superior. They are simply different notes in the grand, mysterious symphony of being. What you feel in these moments is not a weakness. It is awareness. It is depth. It is a way of perceiving the great dance, a way that holds its own quiet wisdom, its own unique gifts, and its own true place in the unfolding of all things. The weariness you feel is but the echo of your own depth in a world that often plays in the shallows. But here, you see, is the marvelous secret. The moment you cease resisting your own nature, when you stop trying to be a wave that crashes, when you are the silent tide, when you honor the stillness you require, you will discover that the connections you make are no longer scattered light, but a focused, warming beam. For you have stopped wasting your life force trying to be the entire spectrum. You are simply being, and that pure resonance calls to it the very connections that nourish, rather than take. You will find your true companions, the other souls who listen to the silence, who prefer one deep conversation to 10 fleeting exchanges. They are the ones who know that the space between two beings can hold more truth than 1,000 words. And with them, being together is not a draining performance, but a shared and peaceful presence. It is a genuine meeting of the waters. So when you next find yourself in a crowd and feel the tide of your energy turn, remember this: you are not broken. You are not apart from the dance. You are not a flawed note. You are a different instrument, designed for a deeper music. And the symphony of the world needs your harmony just as much as it needs the loud, bright melodies of others. Flow with your own river. Tend to your inner silence. And trust that to be precisely who you are is not just permitted, it is essential.